This is Dr. Anna Maria Mihalcha, President of AM Medical LLC. This video is about supporting the immune system against infectious diseases. Our recent Facebook post was censored. This was information regarding vitamin C and utilizing that in terms of preventing and treating infections. So I wanted to review the scientific literature around this topic. On Facebook, this was deemed as false information checked by independent fact checkers. So I will now look at the actual science, and we will verify that these independent fact checkers haven't checked their facts. The article is described here. Dr. Gifford Jones gave an opinion stating that people are dying needlessly of coronavirus, and he was citing multiple physicians that gave their expert opinion on vitamin therapy. For example, Dr. Andrew Saul, who is an international expert on vitamin therapy, says that the coronavirus can be dramatically slowed or stopped completely with the immediate widespread use of high doses of vitamin C. Bowel tolerance levels of C taken in divided doses throughout the day is a clinically proven antiviral without equal. Dr. Robert F. Cathcart, who had extensive experience treating viral diseases, remarked, "I have not seen any flu yet that was not cured or markedly ameliorated by massive doses of vitamin C." Professor Victor Marcial Vega of the Caribou School of Medicine responds, "Given the relatively high rates of successive intravenous vitamin C in viral diseases, and my observation of clinical improvement within 2 to 3 hours of treatment, I strongly believe it would be my first recommendation in the management of the coronavirus." He adds, "I've also used intravenous vitamin C to treat patients with influenza, dengue fever, and other infectious diseases for 24 years. Dr. Jeffrey Allen Rutherbusch, associate professor at Central Michigan University, says, "I believe all of us agree on the greatly increased benefits of vitamin C when people are placed under any stressful condition." Dr. Damien Downing, former editor of the Journal of Nutritional and Environmental Medicine, writes, "Swine flu, bird flu, and SARS all developed in selenium-deficient China. When patients were given selenium, viral mutation rates dropped and immunity improved." Several other authorities agreed that high doses of vitamin C, along with 3,000 units of vitamin D and 20 milligrams of zinc, was a good combination to help fight viral diseases. And Drs. Carolyn Dean and Thomas Levi, both world authorities on magnesium, stressed that the mineral is involved in 1,000 metabolic reactions and that maintaining adequate levels improves immunity. This information is not new. During the Great Polio epidemic in the 1950s, Dr. Klenner, a family physician in North Carolina, treated 60 polio patients with high doses of intravenous vitamin C, and none developed paralysis. Klenner proved that high doses of C could also be effective as treatment for meningitis, pneumonia, measles, hepatitis, and other viral and bacterial diseases, even the bite of a rattlesnake. Again, only scorn from the medical profession. What does this mean to North Americans? Patients with a diagnosis of coronavirus should be given intravenous vitamin C, and it will save lives. The problem is that most doctors still refuse to believe intravenous vitamin C is effective. Our immune system has multiple parts. There are external barriers that help us, like our skin, our mucous membranes, and nasal hair, and the internal barriers, which are the immune cells. And we have several lines of defense. These cells are called phagocyte, natural killer cells, and there are T cells and B cells. I'll now review some studies regarding the effects of vitamin C. This study looks at the clinical effects of vitamin C supplementation in elderly hospitalized patients with acute respiratory infections. So this was a randomized double-blind trial involving vitamin C versus placebo. There were 57 elderly patients admitted to the hospital with acute respiratory infections like bronchitis and bronchopneumonia. These patients were assessed clinically and then again at 2 and 4 weeks, and they were only given 200 milligrams of vitamin C per day, which is a very low dose, or placebo. This little oral dose led to significant increases in the plasma level of vitamin C as well as the white blood cell vitamin C concentration. White blood cells require vitamin C properly to carry out their immune function. They used a clinical scoring system based on the symptoms of the respiratory condition, and those who were supplemented with these minute doses of vitamin C fared significantly better. This was particularly the case for the most severely ill. This next study looks at the clinical and biochemical effects of vitamin C in supplementation in short-stay hospitalized geriatric patients. It's a double-blind placebo-controlled trial, 199 elderly patients who were admitted to an acute geriatric ward. They were assessed in multiple time intervals. 94 patients were given vitamin C, again a minuscule dose of 200 milligrams per day, and 105 had placebo tablets. And they again looked at biochemical markers, which is the vitamin C level in the plasma, and then in the white blood cells, the immune cells that is fighting off the bacteria. Even in these low doses of vitamin C, the low levels in the plasma and in the white blood cells were eliminated in the group who got 200 milligrams of vitamin C. It also suggested that those people who had really low vitamin C levels in their white blood cells, that was an indicator for poorer prognosis and higher death rates. The subjects that were treated with vitamin C did a lot better, and their severity scores of the illness was much improved. This next study looks at the HIV virus and the replication of the virus when vitamin C is given to these cell cultures. And what happened was that the parts of the virus that were associated with how infectious they were and how rapidly they were replicating, which is the extracellular reverse transcriptase, that level was decreased by greater than 99% with vitamin C. And the P24 antigen also was reduced by 90%. So these are markers of the expression of the HIV virus and its activity. And what this indicates is that vitamin C has an anti-HIV effect by diminishing the viral protein production and stabilizing the reverse transcriptase. Why is that important? Because HIV is considered to be a very virulent virus, and vitamin C can even help with that. Vitamin C can shorten the length of stay in the intensive care unit. This was a meta-analysis, so they take many studies of the same topic and analyze it together. So there were 2,004 patients, which is a large amount of patients, so the data is significant. And what occurred is that the length of the intensive care unit stay was reduced on average by 7.8%. In 6 trials, when the patients were given between 1,000 up to 3,000 milligrams per day, that reduced the length of ICU stays by 8.6%. And then in 3 trials where people were on mechanical ventilation, they were really, really sick, the vitamin C shortened the duration of the mechanical ventilation by 18.2%. That is really a significant result. Vitamin C and infections. In this particular article, in many different animal models, the effects of vitamin C on different viruses was looked at. And in influenza A that mice had, they looked at what's called the bronchoalveolar lavage, which is a watery solution that is taken out of the lungs to see how much of vitamin C deficiency there was in that area. And what it turned out is that it appears that the virus itself produced in the tissues a vitamin C deficiency, meaning the vitamin C was used up fast. Bacterial toxins have also led to the loss of vitamin C from many tissues in animal studies. That makes sense because vitamin C is utilized by the body to neutralize toxins and to destroy bacteria. Human wires in 1973 showed that a 200 milligrams per day supplementation was insufficient to normalize the levels of the white blood cells in terms of the vitamin C for people who had the common cold. But then when they went to 6,000 milligrams a day, the leukocyte vitamin C level was normalized. Vitamin C itself has been shown to affect the function of these phagocytes, which are part of the immune system, the production of messengers called interferon that are very important in the regulation of the immune system, the replication of virus, meaning how fast is this virus dividing and spreading, and then the maturation of T lymphocytes. So T lymphocytes are also part of the immune system, and how that immune system is growing up to be strong in defending the organism. This is a study in the effectiveness of vitamin C in preventing and relieving the symptoms of virus-induced respiratory infection. This was done as a prospective study. There were 463 students that ranged from the age 18 to 32 years, made up the control group, and then 252 students made up the experimental test group. And then they were tracked over a period of time, and whenever they were developing flu-like symptoms, they were evaluated in terms of how challenging were their symptoms. In the control group, the patients were treated with decongestants, and in the test population, they were treated with vitamin C in hourly doses of 1,000 milligrams for the first 6 hours, and then 3 times a day thereafter. Those were not reporting symptoms in the test groups were also administered 1,000 milligrams 3 times daily. So there was an 85% reduction of symptoms compared with the control group after the administration of a megadose of vitamin C. I have been getting questions from different people regarding possibility of whether or not it might be possible to transmit viruses or infectious agents via electromagnetic waves or other modalities, and I wanted to discuss the science behind that has been looked at. This article comes from the Pasteur Institute, and the author is Louis Montagnier. He won the Nobel Prize in 2008 for discovering the HIV virus. And this discusses that electromagnetic signals are produced by aqueous nanostructures derived from bacterial DNA sequences. This is the first paper that he published on the topic. And he discussed that a novel property of DNA is described: the capacity of bacterial DNA sequences to induce electromagnetic waves at high watery dilutions. So that sounds like homeopathy, just like you would use any compound and dilute it to such a degree that you no longer have the original compound verifiably in the water. The water contains the information of that substance, and that is the principle of homeopathy. So the article describes that it appears to be a resonance phenomenon triggered by the ambient electromagnetic background of very low frequency waves. The genomic DNA of most bacteria contains sequences which are able to generate such signals. Let me explain that. So most bacteria that are pathogenic, meaning causing disease in the human body, contain sequences that are able to generate electromagnetic frequencies. And these electromagnetic frequencies can be diluted in a watery solution, and the water would maintain that frequency imprint. What this is suggesting is that this opens the way to the development of highly sensitive detection systems for chronic bacterial infections in human and animal diseases. So what this is suggesting is that with certain devices one could measure whether or not this particular very low frequency is present in the human body. Obviously people have heard about these kinds of things because Wilhelm Reif talked about that every pathogen has its own electromagnetic frequency, and that these pathogens can be treated in turn with other frequencies that are very specific to them and destroy these pathogens. Dr. Mei-Wan Ho was a phenomenal leading biophysicist, and she wrote the DNA sequence reconstituted from water memory. Water carrying only the electromagnetic signature of a DNA sequence can make a replica of the sequence out of simple building blocks. Nobel laureate HIV researcher shows. So she is referring to Dr. Montagnier. What she wrote is that when Nobel laureate HIV researcher Luc Montagnier discovered that certain bacterial and viral DNA sequences dissolved in water cause electromagnetic signals to be emitted at high dilutions, she jokingly says that was bad enough. But now new results from his lab appear to show that the DNA sequence itself can be reconstituted from the electromagnetic signal. So what that means is that you have a watery substance with this electromagnetic signal. You put in all the nucleotides that might be needed to rebuild the DNA sequence, and then the material DNA chain has been found to reproduce itself from that signal. This has so stunned the scientific community that one prominent supporter was nonetheless moved to remark, "Luc is either a genius or he is mad." But some quantum physicists are taking that very seriously and are linking Montanier's finding to decades of research demonstrating the sensitivity of organisms to extremely weak electromagnetic fields. So the very institute, the Pasteur Institute in France, that is now working on and has released the sequence of COVID-19, does know and is the actual place where the research was founded of Dr. Montagnier. And what is important is that only a small sequence of any DNA of a pathogen is needed to remake the entire sequence and potentially infect a human organism. Frequencies of viruses and bacteria are ultra low frequencies. They are in the range of 500 to 3000 hertz. These electromagnetic signals were detected in certain dilutions of filtrates from microorganisms like viruses and bacteria, or from the plasma of humans infected with the same agents. And a short HIV DNA sequence of only 104 base pairs is enough to induce this electromagnetic signal. And this is taken from Maewon Ho's book called H2O, The Living Rainbow. As you know, all life is electromagnetic. If you think about vitamin C and its molecular structure, it is absolutely known, and many prominent scientists, including Nobel laureate Sant Georgi, has discussed that all known physiological and biochemical functions of vitamin C are due to its action as an electron donor. What that really means is that this is an antioxidant, and so every molecule that we take into the body also has its own frequency. So regarding of the etiology, where you look at in the body, you can look at it from a molecular perspective, from an immune system perspective. You can look at things from the frequency perspective. It all makes sense. You just have to make sure that you're speaking in the realms where the information is appropriate. There are peptides that can enhance the immune system, and we use them. Thymosin alpha-1 is used for immune function restoration. This drug is in phase 3 trials for the treatment of hepatitis C and phase 2 for hepatitis B. It modulates the immune system by augmenting the T cell function, which is very important for the immune system. These kinds of peptides, like thymosin beta-4, also affect different areas of the immune system. Thymosin beta-4 affects natural killer cells by enhancing one of the cell messengers which is upregulated by thymosin beta-4. And this particular peptide also assists in the development of B cells and antibody formation. Thymosin alpha-1 and thymosin beta-4, as well as thymolene and thymogen, are all peptides that the human body makes when we are young and the thymus gland is functioning. They're thymus gland hormones, and they are intimately involved in building the immune system. In the anti-aging community, what is known is that the immune system aging process is directly connected with the aging process of the organism, because as the immune system is aging, there's increased inflammation and more dysfunction. So these peptides restore a more youthful immune function. C-LANC is a fantastic peptide. It's a neuropeptide, meaning it grows neurons in the brain, but it also blocks anxiety, aggression, and stress. and it's been shown to have antiviral properties. It induces the secretion of interferons, which are these messengers that regulate the immune system. And so it protects the cells from the effects of viruses, and it has been shown to have effects against influenza and herpes virus. There are many things that can be done to protect oneself from infections. The easy things like washing your hands, staying home if you have symptoms, to protect others as well as yourself. Taking vitamin C, hopefully the research that I have presented, of which there is many more studies that clearly document the benefit of vitamin C supplementation, and the Chinese actually are researching also the effects of vitamin C supplementation in their current situation. It is important to know that fear negatively affects the immune system. So when we are in a situation like now with the coronavirus, we want to do everything to reduce our stress levels. It is important to follow your local emergency preparedness information so that you know what is going on in your area. As I said, there are many other supplements and possibilities to help the immune system to stay healthy, eating your fresh fruits and vegetables, decreasing stress. All of those are valuable things to do in these times. Hopefully this was a helpful education and clarifying that vitamin C treatment is absolutely scientifically proven to work over many decades of scientific literature. For more information, you can see us at ammedicalmd.com. You can follow up on us on Facebook and YouTube. Thank you for watching.